This is an absolute amazing place for story. Both geologic story and human story, it's all coming together here. And I find that very exciting and wouldn't be anywhere else.
Evan Archula is the park operator for Longhorn Cavern State Park, located in Burnet, Texas. Sculpted by an underground river, the nooks and crannies in the cave are an impressive sight. But for Evan, the twists and turns discovered in these tunnels are what leave a lasting impression.
So we're in the Indian Council Room right now. It's one of the largest chambers that we have here in the cave. And what's interesting about it is this wall that you see up here in front of me, this is actually concrete. It is not rock. This was the historic entrance to Longhorn Cavern. In 1934, the Civilian Conservation Corps showed up and they began to excavate over 3,000 dump trucks worth of debris from inside the cavern. If you look along the walls up here, that is chert. Chert is a flint-type rock that Native Americans would use for carving projectiles, spearheads, tools, all that. It's just amazing the different eras that have crisscrossed this park, and in particular this cave. So that's a song called the Gut Bucket Shuffle, performed by the Harris Brothers Texans, who we believe is the band that's in this photograph. And so they probably performed that song live in this room.
Every detail at Longhorn Cavern, from the artifacts to the media, even down to the gift shop, everything is part of the story.
This one I really struggled with, because how do you communicate chert, right? So the best way we could think of was with a pun, with arrowheads and the classic lousy t-shirt pun, but it worked. And if you come over here, here's some of the CCC working. This is a Great Depression era program that actually left something behind that is still here today. We have a great history here, and so we wanted coming here to feel like you were stepping back into that classic parks period. I love history. I love reading about what people went through, what they thought. I love understanding how a place has changed over time. The reasons this park was important, or this landscape was important, has changed over the centuries. So it's tourism now, it's conservation now, but at one point in time this was a ranch. And so it's about cattle, and it's about frontier. And older than that, it's about Native Americans. How do they survive? How do they find the tools and things that they need? The Civil War, the guano mining that was happening all over Texas. Most people don't realize that prior to the discovery of oil in Texas, our #1 mineral export was bat guano. The Cold War, 50s through the 80s, we were gonna have 2,000 people sheltering in this cavern in the event of nuclear holocaust. There's just something almost surreal about being in the same spot as someone else in an earlier time. Just the questions that come to your mind when you think about putting yourself in the past, in that person's shoes. I think the more we understand story, the more likely we are to preserve that place, to want to pass that story on to other people. So Texas state parks are places we want to pass on to future generations. And so it's kind of the same idea. Stories get passed along. These parks are going to get passed along. These are things that benefit generation after generation of Texans.